Well, you guys,
Don't
a lot
sell
of you guys
yourself short.
have been in the business for longer than I have and do more business than I do, but I can only share what I do. So, um,
Change your
excuse
belief.
if you don't like that. Okay, so let's get started. Listing presentation. I'm gonna go through these points and then we can mastermind on anything. So number one is always follow the 5-step listing process. The 5 steps are: A, pre-qualify 100% of the people before you go on the appointment. I do that all the time. And when I don't do it, those are the listing appointments that I usually don't take because there is more of a greed versus need, or something along the conversation I didn't clarify right. So when I go to the appointment, I realize I'm wasting my time. And so I definitely recommend pre-qualifying everybody 100% of the time. B is mail or deliver a pre-listing package. And what I did when I created mine, I kind of went through what they recommended here to create a pre-listing package, and I created one, which I want to share with you, and I am open to any feedback that you may have. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Only the host can share in this meeting.
Let me see.
I don't know.
Multiple participants.
Okay.
How I
Let me
change
see here. Let me
Isaiah,
try
are you JB or did you take JB's for him?
No, this is the one that what do you mean? Can you repeat that?
I don't know if I'm confused. Like I don't like it said that JB was today.
No, it was me. It
Okay.
was me. But it's been a crazy couple of weeks, and I didn't realize that until now.
No, Wendy, I was confused as well. So I just wrote down what I'm presenting, so I know I'm 1129.
If you see
I'm 11:15.
if you see the poll, JP, it was supposed to do it, but you know, it's not even on the.
I don't know if
not even on the meeting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know if I would know who he is in a lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Baraza, but you know.
Like I was like, I definitely know who Isaiah is, but I thought it said somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Well, here we are. So,
going.
So B, mail or deliver a pre-listing package. This is the one I created for myself. I've been using this one for the last year or so, and it's worked very good. And I think the point of the pre-listing package is to answer a lot of the questions that you don't want to answer while you're on the actual appointment.
Yeah.
And this actually has done the job. A lot of times they have this in front of them when I get to the appointment, and they really don't ask me anything about what is it that I do, how I do it, if I have any references, or the houses that I've sold. So first page is my information here, as you can see. Then I wrote a personal note, information about thanking them, why they, to thanking them for taking the appointment, for giving me the appointment and meeting with me. And then I put ratings. Here in Houston, we have a rating system that is really good. So I put some of my past client ratings, a couple of pages of that. And here they can see the address of the house. If I represented the seller or the buyer, it gives them any comments that the person would have made, and then the rating itself. So I give them a lot of that so they can see that I do a lot of business and I have a lot of happy clients. Then I put some of my most recent sales so they can see the type of houses that I'm selling and more or less, the style of my marketing. So I put pictures, the addresses, the status, and then the size. I usually don't put pricing because it varies. So I just decided to take off the pricing and just leave it like that. And there is the address, so they can always Google it and get the pricing if they need to.
Yeah.
So I put a couple of pages of those, of my recent sales. And then I put exactly what I do. So from 1 to 40, every single point that they're going to get when they hire me, They're gonna from A to B, from listing the agreement, from signing the listing agreement all the way to the actual sold, the closing. So a lot of times they've already reviewed this, but if they have any questions, I refer them back to here, or I go through it with them. The next one is, where does my listing go? I put that in there because I find out a lot of people want to know that if their listing goes into the major websites that they know of, for example, Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com. So I put some of those big names in the little bubbles, and then down here it says it goes over 300 more of the most popular websites. So they know if when they list with me, it goes all over the internet, everywhere. People are gonna see it. And then I put a page with commitment to my clients that I will guide them, I'll keep them informed. We'll work to make this the best home selling experience that they'll ever have. And then just more of my contact information, and always asking for a referral, because a lot of times they're gonna keep this. And that's just basically my pre-listing package. That's what they're gonna get when, let me just stop it. That's what they're gonna get when they, the day before or the day of the appointment, before I meet with them. They're gonna get that. They're gonna get that together with my CMA and the net sheet and the contract that's already signed by me with the price and everything filled out, just like Mike Ferry says we should do. So C, after you mail and deliver the pre-listing package, you should call back to confirm the appointment and make sure that they have received and reviewed the pre-listing package. D, show up physically, emotionally, and mentally. E, follow the listing script verbatim. I've talked to a lot of people that are Mike Ferry trained, and I've noticed a lot of people don't do the scripts verbatim. They always want to add something to them. I am one of the few that actually like to do verbatim, and I like to, when I'm practicing my listing appointment, which I do it twice a week. Today is one of them, right after this call. With the people that are observing in the room, they can read line by line, and I'm saying exactly what's in the listing appointment because it's worked for me since day one. So a lot of times you got to deviate because people will ask you questions and things, but I always find a way to get back into the script and just continue going through the script. And honestly, it's worked very well for me. So I try to keep it as verbatim as I can. After that, if you think these 5 steps don't apply to you, your ego is generally in the way. Number 3, you create a pre-appointment routine that includes A, getting your mindset in order, B, practicing your presentation, C, looking and dressing professionally, D, ensuring that you have all the proper materials prepared, and E, being punctual or early. I learned from one of you, I don't know really who it was, but to go to go and drive there about 20 minutes early and then drive around the neighborhood before parking in front of their house. And I did that in the last 2 listing appointments, and I feel a lot more comfortable when I do that, because then some of the comparables that I'm gonna talk to them about have their signs and they're near the house. So by me driving around it, I don't know, if for some reason makes me feel more comfortable, more at ease when I'm talking about those specific comparables. And then, I typically just park in front of the house about 15 minutes before, kind of go through the comps, and then 5 minutes before the time, I go in, do a very nice, strong knock at their door, and I never ring the bell, just the door. They come in, take a step back and introduce myself, good energy, and just go in the house. Now, number 4, they always give the listing to the person who earns it, not the person who needs it. You will earn by having good skills. And, I've proven that because before I started using a professional presentation, I would go to a lot of listing appointments and I wouldn't get anything because I didn't have a specific presentation. I was just going thinking that, I knew everything. And every time it would end like, well, thank you for meeting with me. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to discuss it with my wife, with my husband, and then we'll give you a call. And then I would never get the appointment or the listing signed. But now I do.
A little note. My coach once told me that the approach or the attitude I need to have is that attitude that a top producer always wants to close one more deal, but absolutely never needs it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. They feel it. They feel it. They definitely feel when you actually need it versus when you're interviewing them for being a prospect or a client of yours. 5, record your presentation live on a regular basis as a way to improve your skills. To be quite honest with you guys, I've never been able to do that. It's a mindset thing, 100%, and I know it. But to me, it's very strange walk in someone's house and be recording it, whether it's audio or video. I know people do it. To me, it's just a mindset thing. Have y'all done that before?
No,
I can even take pictures at closings with the people in their new homes.
Yeah.
With Christian.
I don't know.
Yeah, I heard Dan Mum say that is what improved his skills the fastest, was when he started recording and then listening.
Wow.
Yeah, I know through Follow Up Boss, all my calls are recorded, and I'll go back and listen, and man, some of the stuff I'm like, oh my gosh, Brian, you're so bad. Like, and reflecting on like, okay, I was so off script, I didn't ask the right questions, or I skimmed the pre-qualifying, and so really going back, why didn't I get that listing? And it's usually because after hearing myself, I'm like, oh, that's why I didn't get that listing, right? So I could see the recording, but like you go into the house, you ask, they're going to be like, what do you mean, right? It's just a mindset thing.
Yeah.
He said
even went through my mind.
Yeah. He said that he says right before he's getting ready to start the listing presentation, he says, do you mind if I record for self-improvement? And then just that short of a statement, and no one has ever said no.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure people won't say no. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, if I try it, I'll let y'all know. But it's going to take a little bit. All right. So number 6, it is common to ask sellers why they didn't list with you. Instead, you should ask them why they chose you. Build your confidence. I haven't done that. I'm going to start doing that. Number 7, listen to the prospect with the intent to understand what they're saying to you versus listening to them so you can make a quick response. Big one. Knowledge. Number 8, knowledge equals confidence and ignorance equals fear. Sellers do not want to hire an unknowledgeable or unconfident agent. Number 9.
I have been in an event we did last Friday, and one of the speakers said something that is really good about listening, or really listening to our clients. Is like listening is waiting for the opportunity to say something when they finish talking, right? Really listening to them is understanding what they are not saying. And that is communicating with empathy.
Right. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I've been practicing that on the phone calls in the mornings, and it takes me way farther than when I'm trying to go to my next statement.
Yeah.
And or my next question, because sometimes you don't have to go through the whole script. Only if you listen to the right things and you go that route, you may just get the appointment.
Exactly.
Number 9, remember, first impressions are critical. This includes everything from the clothes you wear, how well you are groomed, and whether you choose or charm, to the smile on your face and the strength of your handshake. Think about upgrading everything. That got me in trouble, and I'm not gonna lie on that. When I first heard that on the first Mike Ferry event that I went to, it was a group of people, three guys. And we heard Mike Ferry says, consider upgrading everything you have. So I came back home and I went and got a new car and bought a bunch of suits and a bunch of stuff. And I wasn't ready for it because I wasn't closing enough deals to support the spending I was having. So now when people hear that, I tell them, yes, it's truth, but I think you should start with upgrading maybe the way you dress and your confidence, and then go work your way up from there. And don't do what I did. I went all out and went crazy.
And let me add something. In
Yeah.
a superstar retreat in Vegas, Mike Ferry did this thing talking about our approach, and it made me shape myself. I used to use the goatee, and some people really needs to shave.
Yeah.
And he said, especially if you're Latino, try to put a turban on your head. Use a piece of paper for that. And if you look like a terrorist, just shave yourself. So now take a piece of paper and do it.
No, yeah, I've tried before and I look like a 15-year-old, so I'm not doing that. Okay, let me move on here. Number 10. A sales presentation requires asking great questions, not telling people what you think. Number 11, asking questions allows you to maintain control of the presentation. Your understanding of the market and how you can help the prospect achieve their goals can be a deciding edge. Number 12, work under the assumption that because you pre-qualify, you can use the 1-minute listing presentation and it'll work. And that is completely truth because it's happened to me. I didn't know them. They weren't referred to me. And I just did the job how I was supposed to. I closed the appointment. I did the pre-qualification, sent in the pre-listing package, confirm. When I got there, I literally asked a third question. And do you want me to handle the sale for you? And they said, yes. And all I did was, well, all we have to do now is simply sign the contract. And they signed the contract. And then I went through the comps to agree on price, but then I didn't have to do the rest of the presentation. They had already signed the agreement. So I can attest that that's completely true right there.
Yep.
Number 13, be enthusiastic and energetic during the presentation because logic makes people think and emotion makes them act. If you're not an enthusiastic and energetic person, fake it. Yeah. Number 14, a poorly scripted presentation delivered with a great energy and enthusiasm can win a lot of the time. Number 15, remember, it's showtime. If you ever dream about being an actor, this is your opportunity. Number 16, when the presentation goes over 30 minutes, your conversation shifts from selling to telling. Wow. Yeah, I can say a lot about that, but my presentations used to last about sometimes I think one lasted about 3 hours. And many times
3 hours once. Yeah.
Yeah. And many times to not get the listing signed.
Yeah.
I'll say this one thing quickly, which is very, very, very funny. I'm not a drinker and I don't smoke or none of that stuff. And I went on my second ever listing presentation. I went to the listing. I was very nervous, a $600,000 house. And this guy from the Middle East, very cool guy. I was there for 2 hours talking to him. And at the end, when I went for the close, finally got the courage to went to the close. Hey, are we going to sign the listing agreement? He's like, well, why don't we go out to the backyard and smoke a cigarette and drink some rum, and then we'll decide there. And then I'm like, I didn't know what to do. So I had to go back to the backyard with him and smoke a cigarette so this guy could agree on signing the contract with me. And then I came back to my office and I told the people, and they laughed very hard because I'm not a smoker, and I had to smoke a cigarette in order for me to get.
Did you get the listing?
I
get
did.
it?
I got the listing.
Oh, what
I
a
got it.
great story.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
It
a
would
good
have been-
story.
It would have been fun that the guy says, you know, I don't know if you know it, but this was a test. I'm Muslim, so I don't smoke and I don't drink. So get out of my property.
Yeah, that would have been even funnier. Yeah. But I did get the listing. The bad news is that it expired because I took it very high in price.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I still smoke
Hey,
a cigarette.
because you were smoking. You took it very high.
Right. Yeah, it was a very high listing. All right. So number 17, there is a direct correlation between knowing what to say and your ability to show up and do your job. Sellers buy the authority of a canned presentation. Number 18, motivated sellers want an aggressive agent, one who takes charge, understands the business, and tells the truth. Number 19, have the attitude that you're not leaving the seller's home until you have a signed contract. This attitude is easier to establish when you follow all the previous points. Yep. And number 20, let the seller know that they and you don't set the price on the home. The buyers and the sellers set the price. This removes the blame from you as an agent when asking for a price reduction. Number 21, having a strong knowledge of the MLS stats, including days on the market, the total numbers of listings available, and the total number of new listings per month, and the total number of homes that sell per month, gives you power. And I can attest to that. I'm a numbers guy. I like to see the numbers. And when I don't have anything to say, when I don't have anything to talk about, I always go back to the stats because that's what makes me look like a professional. And you know, instead of the blah blah blah, I'm actually talking about real things that are of interest to them. Number 22 and last one, be sure to practice the answers to all the objections you receive while pre-qualifying.
Yep.
So that's the listing presentation. And you guys want to share anything about any of that?
Awesome.
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Just in your pre-listing package, you know, after going through Mike Ferry, I don't know, I watched the YouTube video 1,000 times, and I removed all the testimonials and stuff out of my package because, like Mike said, it's not about
me
you,
too.
it's about them. So I have 5 references that sellers that I've had exceptional, like I went the extra mile for, and I only have that. And then I have a link with a QR code that takes them to my 95-star reviews if they want to look at it and they want to see the video testimonials and that. But I only include a QR code to get them there, but I just keep it super simple with a reference sheet. And like you, I do a really nice thank you for the opportunity. But what I do is I highlight why they're wanting to get out of this appointment, why the 4 questions they're going to want answered before they can move on. So I highlight how much will my home sell, how much will it cost, what am I going to do to get the home sold, and you know what are the results, right? So the listing plan of action, instead of what will I do, I would rephrase that and just say, here's my proven listing plan of action. Like, here's why I get homes sold. And I mean, you have so much credibility with all your home sales, but just that little rephrase might really help sticking to the listing plan of action.
Yeah.
So you mean the 40 points, just
Yes.
not include everything I do, but the things that will cause their home to sell? Is that what is that what you're saying?
It looked a little bit different than Mike Ferry's listing plan of action.
Can I share
I see what you're saying.
a little bit?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I copied every single point from Mike Ferry's, and then I've added, you know, social media, and because they all want social media, it doesn't matter. We all know that, but we all
Right.
add that too. So I've added that as well.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
do too. And I call it a listing plan of action, just like Mike does too. I think a lot of it comes down to verbiage, you know, just in switching it over to like you know, how their home is getting sold, basically. You know, listing plan of action is focusing on that this is a listing, I'm taking action, we're getting it sold.
I see.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is, so you took from the sales, this manual, you took the listing plan of action items and you put them in there instead of just, instead of what I have, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I used his, I took out what doesn't make sense in my market, and then I mine is 28 points now at this point, but yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So
That's
I'm
great feedback.
always
Appreciate
using
that.
it the way Mike says from the beginning. In here in the first page, just 10 reasons to hire me. That's all. My QR code so they can go to my virtual business card.
Okay.
Then the second page is my marketing plan with 21 simple things that I can tell them, just keep this one nearby so I can call you every Friday, and I'm going to tell you every single Friday, what did I do from this list that you can scratch off.
Okay.
Then the second is my most recent references. I encourage them to call them if they want. Just 5 of them. Simple. Just name, area, and their phone number.
Okay.
Then when I put the comparables or the CMA, I put this with them, real market value. The active comp shows us the other active properties that are for sale we are competing against, and at what price they are not getting offers. Pending sales shows us at what price we need to list your property to expect to receive the offer we're aiming for. And the sold comps are the key references we use to find out your unit's real market value after analyzing and comparing the features and benefits offered by them. And in most cases, it represents the amount of money banks and mortgage brokers are willing to lend to a qualified buyer to purchase them. Pricing your property accurately will be the difference between reaching your goals on time or having your property on the market for an extended and unwanted period of time. And then what else? Documents for your review. I always put leasing agreement, seller's net sheet, property tax report, seller's disclosures. All right. My information.
That's good.
That's it. Boom.
That's good.
So I got a question.
My schedule, so my weekly schedule in a page, so they see that I'm working full time. And now my ad, if they want to see it, the CELO report with all of the sales and everything is like 5 pages. I just put it on the side. If they want to see it, it's there.
Okay.
You just print it on nice paper and put it in a folder?
Yes.
Oh, I get a clear folio, and they got plastic strips. You can get like 30 of them for $12 on Amazon, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
Your
That's
firm
true.
gives you those, right, Christian?
What?
Does your firm give you those?
No, I purchased them.
Do they say real one? It's blurry.
Yeah, let me take it out.
These are what I get, guys. And you just
I
swipe this off, put the docs in. It's no fancy binding or anything, but this takes 5 seconds to do and it's done.
See?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Where are you or who are you ordering folders from?
In my case, from Realty One group page, they have everything there, different folders and everything.
To order.
Yeah, I have to order them.
I got a question, Christian. You mentioned you called them on Friday. Is that for your like weekly call with the seller? And why on Friday?
Because it could be on Monday too, but because usually Friday afternoon is slower than other days. So I call every single listing that I have and tell them, this is the activity we have. Do you guys use List Track?
List Track?
Yeah, that's an amazing app. Just go for it. List Track. So you can add your customer to it, and they're going to see all of the activity that the listing has in different websites. Even it is going to show you a map showing you where people in the world are looking for this property especially.
So
So I
list
send them
track.
every Friday, they receive that report, list track,
Okay.
automatically every Thursday afternoon. I send them a search, an automatic search every Thursday from the MLS, so they can see what is the activity on their building or in their neighborhood. And then when I call them, I tell them, did you notice this new property that was listed for sale? Did you notice that this one went under contract, that
Right.
the one that was pending finally sold, so they can see at what price they're really selling. And every
Right.
2 weeks, I propose a price reduction. So when you
Yeah.
do that every single Friday, they see, okay, this guy was working. Actually, he's not doing nothing and calling me once a month to reduce my price.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know?
No, that's the call. The once a week call is extremely important. And one thing I learned from someone that one of the agents here is that, and he's been doing this for 30 years, is that you call your clients once a week, and then you call them another time a week for any reason at all, whether you have an update or not. You just call them, because by doing that, they're gonna see that you're working, that you're paying attention to them, and it's just
You're
that
building
has helped me a
rapport,
lot. Yeah, yeah. And so fortunately, in my market center in Houston, we have an amazing MLS, like really, really, really good. I had my license in Florida as well, and it didn't impress me, the MLS systems, because ours here is really, really good. And we have something like the list track that you're talking about,
Yeah.
that every week it sends them all the information about their listing and where it's seen. It's really nice. So
Yeah.
we're pretty lucky here to have that. And yeah, thanks for all the feedback. And I'm gonna use that for my pre-listing package. Absolutely gonna change it. And what I do real quick is I try to make the pre-listing package as nice as I can, so they can see the quality of what I do, what I'm gonna do for them. So what I do is I send my pre-listing package, the PDF, to Office Depot. It's a little expensive, and then they print it in these long sheets that are like glossy and a little thicker, and then they staple them in the middle, and they look fancy as you can get, kind of like your folder.
Yeah.
And they're, it's really, really nice. So I would recommend that, but I probably pay, I think it's $5 a piece. I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was doing that on a lot of unqualified sellers, so it was costing me like hundreds of dollars a month.
Remember, we
And
have less
so-
than a minute.
Yeah, so I stopped, and now I'm just doing this, but it's still like I say, it doesn't feel as good as Staples, because they bound it, they did the binding, and they did like that thick glossy paper, and it was like it had substance, right? Where this is just
Yeah.
like, yeah, maybe I need to go back to doing that.
Okay, sorry guys, but it's
All right.
about to end.
Okay, thank you,
No, have a
everyone.
good
Great
one.
presentation,
Thank
Isaiah.
Good job, Isaiah. Have a great
Thank
week.
you, guys.
See you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Guys, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Share the recording later.
Perfect.
Bye.